Hi, Year 5 and Year 6. Thank you very much for joining me to do some baking today. My name is Ms Gittins-Jones from the Dean Academy. Before we get started on making some treats for you and your family, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about what we do here at the Dean Academy in food technology.
This is the equipment you'll need for jam buns: cooling wire, tablespoon, baking tray, basin, teaspoon, mixing bowl and a fork. These are the ingredients you'll need for jam buns: jam, margarine, 1 egg, 300 grams of self-raising flour and 150 grams of sugar. There are 3 types of spoons that we can use for measuring. We've got a little spoon for stirring tea, teaspoon. We've got a medium-sized spoon that we normally eat our puddings with, dessert spoon. And finally, we've got a really big spoon called a tablespoon. And we sometimes use this for serving up vegetables, maybe at a Sunday lunch, something like that. But most of the time we use it for measuring. Now, I've used the tablespoon to measure out my jam, 4 tablespoons. Now, what we're going to do, as I've said already, is we're going to make some cakes today. We're going to do some jam buns. Okay, they're a bit like rock cakes, but they've got a special added addition of jam in the middle. So I'm going to just move my bits and pieces out of the way. First of all, I'm going to get my self-raising flour. Now, I've washed my hands. That's the first rule. Always wash your hands, and I've taken off my jewellery as well, because today we're going to be doing the rubbing in method, and that means getting our hands in the bowl. First job is we're going to put in our 150 grams of margarine. You can use butter, but quite often we haven't got that much butter. Margarine is a little bit easier to have in our fridge. It's softer to work with. We don't have to let it warm up a bit, because butter is quite hard. Now, as I said, we're going to get our hands in the bowl. Sleeves up. And we're just going to use our fingertips. We don't want to get the mixture in the middle of our hands if we can help it. So fingertips, we're going to rub. And we're just going to rub that fat, the margarine, into the flour. So I'll quickly do that. Now, jam buns can actually be flavoured with lots of things. We're just doing plain sweet ones because we've got the jam. But you can actually forget the jam and maybe put in some raisins instead. And then they are really just like rock cakes. Now, we're trying to make sure there are no lumps of fat through the flour. And let's just check. Nothing on the palms of my hands, just on my fingers at the moment. Our fingers are the coldest part of our hands. The blood's got a long way to reach. So it's good to just use your fingertips. Otherwise it can go a little bit sticky. Now, we learn lots of different skills in food. We learn about cooking methods. We obviously have to do the cleaning up. We learn about healthy eating. We also learn about nutrition. As you go through the school, we build on all the knowledge that you've learned in Year 7. We start off by doing knife skills, slicing, dicing. We also learn about the different kinds of chopping boards that we use. At home, you might just have one chopping board, but in school we have a range of different ones. And in our next cook, pizza wheels, we'll use those as well. Now, I think I'm almost there. I'm going to shake my bowl from side to side, and any lumps of fat come to the top. I can rub them through with my fingertips. Now, I don't mind having mucky hands, but if you want to wash your hands, you can do. The next ingredient I'm going to add is sugar. My sugar goes straight into my bowl, and with a spoon, I'm going to mix it up. All mixed in. Now, the tricky bit. Maybe you like doing this bit. Some people don't because it's a bit sticky. But I'm going to crack my egg into my basin. I'm not going to do it straight into here because what if I get some shell in it? So I'm going to crack my egg on the side of my bowl, and I'm going to pull the break apart. And then hopefully we won't get any shell in our bowl. Now, we can break up the egg with a fork. We're going to break the egg up with a fork. Whisk it round so that now it's all mixed together. I'm going to add my egg into my mixture. There's not much egg there. It's going to make a bit of a dough. I'm not going to use my hands now. I'm going to mix it in using a spoon. The egg helps the mixture to stick together. Make sure you get all the bits around the edge. If it's a little bit dry still, you could add a little bit of water. I'm going to use a tablespoon to add a bit of extra water. 1 tablespoon, only one. I'm going to mix it in again. That's a bit better. It's a bit more sticky. Now, we're going to make these into dough balls. And I think we can probably make about 10. My next bit of equipment is a baking tray. Now I'm going to put a bit of fat onto my baking tray to stop my jam buns from sticking. Using my fingers, I'm just going to rub it on. You can use a bit of tissue or a piece of kitchen roll. Now, next, a little bit of maths now. We're going to squash it into 10 equal sized balls and put them onto the tray. I've got 10, but I've got some left in my bowl. So I'm going to go back round and make sure that those little ones are all about the same size. So you can add a bit more on. They don't need to be round. If you want to make them a bit more round, that's fine. Just squash them together a bit more. If you want to make them really round, you can roll them in your hands. Okay, they're all about the same size. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use my thumb. I'm going to make a dip because I need to put my jam in. Don't worry if they split open a bit. Okay, I've made a dip. Now, I'm just going to go and wash my hands. Let's have a bit of a tidy up. Move all the things that you don't need out of the way. Okay, my jam buns have a dip in the middle. I'm going to put in my jam now. Not too much though, because when jam heats up, it turns a bit like lava and it bubbles and spreads everywhere. So with this time I'm going to use my teaspoon, my small spoon. If we don't use up all the jam, that's fine. And I'm going to pop a bit of jam straight in the middle. I've got a bit of extra jam left. I won't use that. Now, these need to go into an oven, and they go into the oven These need to go in the oven now. I've set my oven at 200 degrees centigrade. That's about gas mark 6. Pop them in the oven. You don't need oven gloves to put them in because your tray is cold, but make sure you wear them when you get them out. They go in for about 15 to 20 minutes. We need to check them in about 15 minutes to see if they need a bit longer. I'm going to put them in the oven. Be very careful when you open the oven door. Because it's been on, the heat is very, very hot, and it will come up out of the oven and may come up into your face. So just stand to the side and open the oven door very carefully. My jam buns are going to go in onto the top shelf. Put them in very carefully. Shut the door, and we need to put on a timer. 15 to 20 minutes. Time to clear up. We need to make sure that our work surfaces are clean, and we're going to go and do a bit of washing up. This time I've got my oven gloves. So these are oven gloves, but you might have an oven mitt that isn't joined in the middle. These are joined in the middle so that I don't burn my wrists. So I'm going to very, very carefully open the oven door, mind that hot air, and I'm going to grab it with my fingertips and bring my tray out. My jam buns are golden brown. The jam has gone already. They have joined together a little bit, but that's okay. They'll break apart and they'll taste really good. If you have a cooling wire, you can use this to put your jam buns onto, just so that they cool down quicker. If you don't, leave them on the tray. It'll be fine. I've also got a fish slice. I'm going to use this just to help get them off the tray. You can use whatever you have. Be careful of that lava jam. Because you greased your tray, they should come off nice and easy. Then one more bit of washing up. Just wash your tray. Make sure that it's cooled down enough though before you pick it up. Jam buns. We have two different cloths for doing the washing up. We've got the dishcloth, the white one, and the checkered one for drying up. Yours might be different, but one's for washing, one's for drying. At school, there is nobody to do your washing up for you. You have to do it yourself. When we're washing up, I hope you do some at home, so maybe you should know how to do this. But when you're washing up, let's put a little bit of washing up liquid in, just a small amount, not lots. We just want to use that to clean the equipment. It gets off all the sticky stuff. Hot soapy water. If it's a bit too hot, add some cold, but we should be using hot. I've dried up all my equipment, and it all needs to be very, very dry, because in school, we've got lots and lots of different areas that we work in. Each area has enough for 6 students, so we need to make sure that all of the equipment is put back in the right place so that the next lot of students can use it. The Eat Well plate is an important part of our learning. We look at all different food groups and what nutrition they actually provide us. We need these foods to stay healthy. We also learn about all the different kinds of equipment that we can use. And through all the cooks that we do, we try and use a range of different equipment each time. In Year 7, we look at eating healthily, and we look at the 5 a day campaign. You may have heard of this before, but eating lots of fruit and vegetables is very important. We work on this right the way through to Year 11, but in Year 7 we look at it in detail.
I hope you enjoy your jam buns. Thank you very much for joining me. Bye-bye.